Listen to me carefully this morning, because what I'm about to say is going to reach exactly where your spirit has been wrestling. You are not waking up today by accident. You are waking up because heaven has something to deposit into you that the enemy hoped you would be too tired, too discouraged, or too distracted to receive. I want you to lean in, because this is not just another prayer, not just another moment of inspiration. This is an impartation, a divine alignment, a spiritual recalibration for the assignment ahead of you. And if you stay with me, if you allow these words to settle into your heart, you're going to feel strength rising where weakness tried to live, clarity appearing where confusion tried to linger, and courage returning where fear tried to take root. I woke up today with a very clear word. God said he's strengthening your spirit for what's ahead, which means two things. First, there is something ahead, and second, you must not enter it unprepared. You see, too many people pray for a breakthrough but never allow God to fortify them for the breakthrough. Too many ask for doors to open but ignore the internal strengthening required to walk through those doors without collapsing under the weight of the blessing. God does not give you a future you are not equipped to carry. So if heaven is saying, I'm strengthening your spirit, it is because your future requires a version of you that is more stable, more grounded, more discerning, more spiritually tough, and more emotionally anchored than you've ever had to be before. You've been going through things in recent months that were not about breaking you, they were about building you quietly. You thought you were fighting the situation, but God was strengthening your endurance. You thought you were battling the uncertainty, but God was stretching your faith. You thought you were struggling with closed doors, delayed answers, unexpected setbacks, but God was teaching your spirit how to stand firm without relying on what you see. Every pressure you felt was a divine workout. Your spiritual muscles have been tearing so they can rebuild. Your soul has been stretching so it can hold more. And today, God is saying you are stronger than you realize, and I am making you stronger still. Some of you have been asking, why does this season feel like a constant test? Because preparation always feels like examination. God is not testing you to fail you. He's testing you to reveal what's inside you. Strength is not developed in comfort. Wisdom is not born in ease. Perspective is not shaped by everything going your way. You grow through resistance. You mature through friction. You stabilize through pressure. You become spiritually rooted through moments that shake everything except your faith. And I want you to hear this clearly. What you've been calling setbacks were actually spiritual training grounds. What you've been calling delays were divine pacing. What you've been calling confusion was God rearranging your vision to match His. You assume something has gone wrong because it doesn't feel smooth. But God said the storm didn't come to drown you. The storm came to strengthen your sail. Some of you have been asking, Lord, why do I feel drained? Because strengthening often begins with emptying. God has been removing false attachments, draining out emotional toxins, cleansing out old cycles, clearing out people who weren't aligned with your destiny, stripping away fears. You kept rehearsing, removing habits that made you spiritually dull, and tearing down inner narratives that weakened your courage. When God strengthens your spirit, He often begins by removing what weakened it in the first place. The emptiness you felt wasn't abandonment, it was detox. The silence wasn't punishment, it was recalibration. The loneliness wasn't rejection, it was insulation for transformation. You thought you were losing, but you were actually being prepared to gain what a weaker version of you could not handle. This is why God said, I am strengthening your spirit for what's ahead. Because what's ahead requires stamina. You cannot enter your next season fatigued. You cannot enter your next opportunity discouraged. You cannot step into your next elevation with a spirit that is easily shaken or easily influenced by fear. God is strengthening you because where He's taking you, pressure increases, but so does purpose. Responsibility increases, but so does reward. Visibility increases, but so must discernment. Blessings increase, but so must capacity. Hear me, you are entering a season where your spirit must lead. Not your emotions. Your emotions have been driving long enough, and look how exhausted you are. Look how unstable you become when you depend on feelings instead of faith. Feelings change too quickly, but your spirit holds truth. Your spirit holds wisdom. Your spirit holds conviction. Your spirit holds alignment. When your spirit is strong, your emotions no longer dictate your decisions. Your fears no longer influence your destiny. Your doubts no longer sabotage your steps. That's why God is strengthening your spirit so your life can finally be built from the inside out instead of the outside in. There are things ahead of you that will require a stronger yes and a stronger no. A stronger boundary, a stronger focus, a stronger commitment, a stronger willingness to walk alone until God brings the right people, a stronger discipline to show up consistently, a stronger sensitivity to God's voice so you don't fall for distractions disguised as opportunities, a stronger backbone so you don't shrink when spiritual warfare intensifies, a stronger faith so you don't run back to old patterns when the future feels unfamiliar. God is strengthening your spirit because He is removing the version of you that breaks too quickly, the version of you that apologizes for your calling, the version of you that hides your gifts, the version of you that tolerates what drains you, the version of you that falls into discouragement the moment someone misunderstands you, the version of you that doubts every time circumstances change. That version is dying, and it needs to die. Not because you were weak, but because you were evolving. You cannot carry an old spirit into a new destiny. You've been feeling a spiritual tension, a heaviness, a sense of being pulled between who you were and who you're becoming. That's the spiritual strengthening. God is tightening loose areas. He's sharpening your instincts. He's expanding your patience. He's preparing you to handle conversations, decisions, relationships, and responsibilities you've never had before. Some of you have been waking up with a sense that something is shifting even if you can't explain it. That's because your spirit senses before your mind understands. God strengthens your spirit ahead of your circumstances, not after. He prepares you internally for what's coming externally. That's why the inside of you has been changing your heart, your appetite, your tolerance, your desires. What used to interest you now feels empty. What used to distract you now feels irrelevant. What used to drain you now feels unacceptable. What used to scare you now feels conquerable. That's spiritual strengthening. That's divine preparation. That's God saying, I'm getting you ready. There are battles coming that will not scare you because your spirit will be fortified. There are opportunities coming that will not overwhelm you because your spirit will be grounded. There are transitions coming that will not confuse you because your spirit will be clear. There are blessings coming that will not pull you away from God because your spirit will be anchored. Hear this deeply. God isn't just strengthening your spirit for survival. He's strengthening your spirit for stewardship. There is something you will have to manage, something you will have to build, something you will have to protect, something you will have to lead, something you will have to sustain. God is not preparing you for small things. He is preparing you for significant responsibilities, divine appointments, strategic assignments, and spiritual influence. You must be strong enough to handle the weight of what He is placing in your hands. A weak spirit collapses under pressure. A strong spirit thrives under pressure. A weak spirit overreacts. A strong spirit discerns. A weak spirit takes everything personally. A strong spirit takes everything prayerfully. A weak spirit quits. A strong spirit adapts. A weak spirit fights flesh. A strong spirit fights spiritually. This is why God has no interest in your comfort right now. He is interested in your capacity. He is strengthening what truly needs strength, your inner life. And I must tell you this, the next level God is preparing you for will expose you to new challenges, new temptations, new distractions, new spiritual warfare, and new demands. This is not to scare you, it is to prepare you. If your spirit is not fortified, your future will feel like a burden instead of a blessing. But when your spirit is strengthened, you rise to new levels of authority. You operate with wisdom beyond your years. You walk with peace that defies logic. You face pressure with calm confidence. You respond to adversity with patience. You move with clarity. You speak with conviction. You love without losing yourself. You give without becoming depleted. You stand firm even when life attempts to shake you. That is why God is strengthening your spirit, not because you're weak, but because what's ahead is great. Not because you're failing, but because you're being promoted, not because you lack, but because you're being entrusted with more. Not because you're broken, but because you're being rebuilt for greater durability. And let me speak prophetically. Some of you think the battle you're in right now is a sign that God has abandoned you. But the battle is a sign that you are transitioning into a higher realm of purpose. The enemy doesn't attack what has no future. Pressure does not come against places where nothing is being birthed. Resistance is not sent to those who pose no threat. The fact that you are experiencing spiritual and emotional pushback means that what's ahead of you carries weight. Heaven is investing in you. Hell is threatened by you. That's why God is strengthening your spirit, because you are entering a realm where your life will influence others. Your voice will shift atmospheres. Your decisions will impact generations. And your obedience will unlock breakthroughs for people attached to your calling. And God says you will not enter that future spiritually fragile. You will not enter it with a discouraged heart. You will not enter it with a fearful mind. You will not enter it with a divided spirit. I am strengthening you so nothing ahead will break you. Take a breath. Slow down. Let this settle. You are being strengthened because you are being sent. You are being fortified because you are being entrusted. You are being prepared because you are being positioned. You are being disciplined because you will be responsible for more than yourself. You are being grounded because elevation without grounding leads to collapse. You are being expanded internally so you can handle the expansion externally. And God is saying, stop interpreting preparation as punishment. Stop misreading strengthening as struggle. Stop assuming resistance means rejection. You are growing. You are being shaped. You are being refined. Your future is too important to enter with a weak spirit. Your calling is too significant to carry with fragile emotions. Your assignment is too valuable to be led by doubt. God is strengthening your spirit so you can stand in rooms that once intimidated you. So you can speak with authority in places where you were once silent. So you can choose wisely where you once chose emotionally. So you can endure seasons you used to escape. So you can walk through transitions without losing your identity. And hear this, God is strengthening your spirit so you can trust his timing without frustration. So you can pray without wavering. So you can love without fear. So you can give without resentment. So you can wait without anxiety. So you can obey without hesitation. A strong spirit makes obedience natural. A strong spirit makes clarity consistent. A strong spirit makes peace accessible. A strong spirit makes discipline sustainable. This is why heaven is touching you in this moment, because you are about to enter a season where spiritual strength is not optional, it is required. You will look back on this season and say, it was uncomfortable, but it was necessary. It was confusing, but it was foundational. It was stretching, but it made me strong. God said, I am strengthening you because you're about to handle more than you ever imagined. And you will not break. You will not crumble. You will not fold. You will rise. You are being strengthened for what's ahead. And what's ahead is good. What's ahead aligns with your prayers. What's ahead aligns with your purpose. What's ahead aligns with your destiny. What's ahead aligns with the version of you God always saw. Even when you didn't, let your spirit receive. This strength is coming. Clarity is coming. Peace is coming. Stability is coming. Courage is coming. Endurance is coming. Wisdom is coming. Discernment is coming. Restoration is coming. And every area where you felt weak, God is making strong. You will not enter your next season crawling. You will enter it standing tall. You will enter it with confidence. You will enter it spiritually anchored, emotionally balanced, mentally clear, and divinely guided. God said, I'm strengthening your spirit for what's ahead. And nothing ahead of you will be wasted. Nothing ahead of you will be too heavy. Nothing ahead of you will break you. Because you strengthened, equipped, grounded, renewed, are finally ready.